I know you love earning travel rewards and cash back, and that's why you're going to love Rakuten. With Rakuten, you can earn cash back on everything you need to book your dream trip, hotels, flights, rental cars, experiences, and more, while still booking through your favorite travel sites. And don't worry, cash back can be earned on top of earning the credit card points and the hotel and airline loyalty points that matter most to you, depending on how you make your booking. Plus, with Rakuten, you can also earn cash back on groceries and other purchases like electronics, pet supplies, and more. And the best part, you can join today for free and start earning cash back on top of your travel rewards. Go to Rakuten.com or get the app. That's Rakuten, Rakuten. Rakuten, the most rewarding way to shop.
You're listening to the Zero to Travel podcast, where we explore exciting travel-based work, lifestyle, and business opportunities, helping you to achieve your wildest travel dreams. And now your host, world wanderer and travel junkie, Jason Moore.
Hey there, it's Jason with ZeroToTravel.com. Welcome to the show. Thanks for hanging out, letting me bring a little travel into your ears today. This is the show to help you travel the world on your terms to fill your life with as much travel as you desire, no matter what your situation or experience. We are talking gifts for travelers today. What traveler doesn't love a travel-related or perhaps semi-adjacent travel-related gift? My number one goal with this episode, it's a solo episode, by the way, you're stuck with me on this one, just me, is not to bore you. I'm not going to sit here and just read you a list of gifts with no commentary, no tip. I was trying to weave in perhaps some stories, how I use these things. I'm also going to share 3 gifts you should not buy. This might be controversial, but 3 gifts you definitely shouldn't buy for people. And my favorite gift to give and get is at the end, which is going to tie nicely into the quote I share to wrap this up. You never know where these episodes are going to go. I turn the microphone on. I do have a list here in front of me, but I got to say, I don't have a crazy plan here, guys. We're just diving in. We're going to see what happens. And we're going to kick it off with dreaming and scheming. I have actually broken these gifts down into 3 different categories. You'll see what the other ones are in just a short bit. But we're going to start with dreaming and scheming because every traveler loves a little bit of fuel for their wanderlust, let's say, a little bit of inspiration. And perhaps the dreaming and scheming gifts can also be an opportunity to perhaps set a future travel intention, a future travel goal. And I'll get to what I mean. So I have a little bit of a list here. I've cheated a little bit on this number one because the first one I'm going to say is a travel-themed book. Now, let me give you some ideas there. I have some books I love. For example, a friend of mine now, Eric Weiner, he's been on the show. He has a great book called The Geography of Bliss. There's books like Into the Wild, Into Thin Air, John Krakauer. Those are adventure books. You have coffee table type books like the National Geographic Best of the World book, the wonderful books they make at Atlas Obscura. And then you have books about moving abroad, like our friend Tim Leffel, who's been on the show. He has a book called A Better Life for Half the Price. That book might be an example of a book you might give, let's say you have a spouse or a friend or somebody that you know intimately, and you know perhaps they have a dream to move abroad. You can kind of personalize the gift when you give a book like that. And another thing that I've done is I've given a book to a destination we are planning on visiting. I had an ex that we wanted to go to Hawaii together. And instead of telling her, I kind of planned the whole trip and then just gave her a Hawaii guidebook. And I said, here we go. We're going to Hawaii. And, so you can use the book as part of a greater gift if you're getting a book on a destination, or perhaps, like I said, just an intention where you're like, hey, we've always talked about going to Australia or whatever. Let's give an Australia guidebook. I love the Moon guidebooks. They're the ones I've enjoyed the most recently. And let's just put this out there. Like maybe we don't have tickets. Maybe we're not sure, but we have the guidebook now. We can sit around, we can start reading, it becomes more real. And I think that's a really fun way. Guidebooks are a fun way to make a trip more real. It's like a small investment that immediately brings a trip to life. There's something about the paper. It's not like looking at blogs on the internet or doing research like that. You have a physical thing sitting in your house. The front cover says Australia. You're seeing pictures of Australia, and you're like, yo, here's Australia. Here's some practical advice on how to get there. Here's some of the experiences we can have. This is becoming real. So I think that's a cool gift to give somebody if they have a dream about going somewhere, or perhaps somebody that you're going to go somewhere with, to make it more real. Okay, travel themed books. There you go. Number 1. Number 2, I'm keeping it old school here. A paper map, a world atlas, just for dreaming. And you could get more specific. Again, this is along the same lines as the travel themed books I just talked about. Imagine you have a friend who always talks about walking the West Highland Way or hiking the Appalachian Trail or one of these long distance trails. Perhaps you can be the one to get them a step closer to their dream by giving them a paper map. You could actually order a map of the hiking trail and give that to them as a gift. Be like, here you go. You've been talking about this forever. Time to take some action. And I don't know. It can just be a really cool way. Just a general gift idea if you're looking for one in the maps world. Just a world atlas is a pretty cool thing to have, or perhaps, a more in-depth map of your home country if you're going to do more exploration there, if it's somebody that doesn't travel so much abroad. By the way, I should have mentioned at the top, you can get yourself a gift too. You deserve that. I've been buying myself gifts left and right, to be honest with you. As we come into the holiday, I have been using my upcoming birthday as a nice excuse to level up, or I should say upgrade, some of my music gear and recording equipment, which hasn't been cheap, by the way. But, you deserve a little something too. Get yourself a little something. And perhaps that something will be a paper map that can help make a trip more real for you. Okay. Number 3. This is something that, when I travel, this is a thing I obsess over. I have to make sure I have this. Otherwise, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. And that's my Kindle Paperwhite for reading on the road. Now, if you've never used an e-reader before, this could be any e-reader. I just used the Kindle for so many years. And I love the Paperwhite. And to me, I love physical books, but I can't have a reading light on at night when I'm sleeping next to my wife because I'll drive her insane. Of course, that wouldn't be fair. So I read my Kindle every night in bed. And the e-reader, the light on it, it's just, you don't even think about that you're reading a digital book in that way. It doesn't feel like you're reading a book on a computer or a tablet or something like that. If you've never tried one, I'm a huge fan, and especially being overseas. I'm based in Norway, and I just can't get all of the English books I want to get here. But through the Kindle and through the Amazon store, I can get pretty much any book I want. So I need to have my Kindle with me. Otherwise, I'm in freak out mode. I have to read it every single night, and it's a great gift, I think. So anyway, there you go. Number 4, back to the dreaming and scheming to close out this category. A great journal. The Moleskine journals, the Moleskine notebooks, they're classic. They're a bit expensive. They might be something that you wouldn't necessarily maybe buy for yourself just because you're like, do I really need to spend this much on like a hardcover journal? But boy, it's sure nice to get one of those. And you could use the journal if you want to personalize it a little bit more, attach the journal to something in that person's life. You could just say, hey, I have been hearing you talk about wanting to start a location-independent business so you can travel the world. Well, here you go. Here's a journal where you can keep all your best ideas, and this is going to be, where you write down all of the things associated with your future business, and, coming into the new year, here's your chance to make it real. I love a good journal. So there you go. It's a nice treat. Now, I will throw in one bonus gift here that I'm going to mention. And I am obsessed with these pens. They're Parker pens. You can get them online. You can get them at like an office supply store or whatever. I'm not sure if I can get them in Norway. I always get them when I go back to the USA. And they're not the most expensive pens. I think they're like maybe $15 a pop, 10, $15. I use these things all the time. I mean, this is the only pen I use, the Parker pen. I mean, if I can't find my Parker pen, I have to get another pen, and I'm just like, I'm going to use this pen. Okay. But, you get a journal, get a nice journal, you get a nice Parker pen, not too expensive, but they're a little bit weighty. You can get like refills with them. So I have like, I don't know how many I have now. I'm just looking around. I have 3 or 4 just within my eyesight right now. I have to have these Parker pens nearby. So anyway, the journal pen thing, a nice 1-2 combo punch. We'll get back to the interview in just a moment. I know you love earning travel rewards and cash back, and that's why you're going to love Rakuten. With Rakuten, you can earn cash back on everything you need to book your dream trip, hotels, flights, rental cars, experiences, and more, while still booking through your favorite travel sites. And don't worry, cash back can be earned on top of earning the credit card points and the hotel and airline loyalty points that matter most to you, depending on how you make your booking. Plus, with Rakuten, you can also earn cash back on groceries and other purchases like electronics, pet supplies, and more. And the best part, you can join today for free and start earning cash back on top of your travel rewards. Go to Rakuten.com or get the app. That's Rakuten, Rakuten. Rakuten, the most rewarding way to shop. Now, back to the show. All right, we're going to move to the next category. First, a reminder, I'm going to share those 3 gifts not to buy at the end, plus my favorite gift, which we're counting down to in some ways. All right, this category is, I called it head to toe. Now, I'm not going to like gear you up with everything, but we're talking about apparel, things you might need on the road. And these are things that I've used personally that I really love. And so I thought I would share them. And the first one, we're on gift number 5, by the way. We're in the head to toe category now. The first one, listen, I know you've been hearing them on the podcast. They are sponsoring the show. This isn't a sponsored thing right here. I have to include them, though, because I love their stuff. Unbound Merino. They have merino wool gear, apparel, T-shirts. They have this travel compact hoodie. I'm wearing it right now. I wear it almost every day. The wool T-shirts are incredible. Pants, socks. Merino wool is like this super fabric that it wicks sweat away. It keeps you, sort of regulates your temperature. We wear it all the time in Norway. And if you haven't experienced the benefits of merino wool, it is worth every penny. I'm telling you, this is the kind of thing, like I am more of I'd rather pay more and get something higher quality that's going to last, that's going to be really good, that I can use for a long time and make that investment. And, with the T-shirts, for example, I mean, they don't get smelly because it's merino wool. So when you're talking about trying to pack lighter, I have as we go down this list, I have some other tips related to that coming soon. You can think about it like if you have not been able to avoid checked baggage fees because you just find yourself like you have to pack too much and you always have to check a bag and you have to pay for that. If you could take a real look at like some things you might be able to invest in for yourself or for somebody else, that can allow you to cut back on what you need to pack and pack lighter. These things can pay for themselves over time just by not having to check a bag. That's like another way to look at it, I suppose, if you fall into that camp. But anyway, Unbound Merino, this is insane because I'm publishing this now because I know a lot of these things you might be able to get on sale because of all the Black Friday stuff or whatever. And up until, I don't usually tie these episodes to like timelines, but I will say this because it's important. Unbound Merino has 40% off, up to 40% off, from November 24th through December 2nd, up to 40% off. I have like a promo code that's part of our campaign, and I asked them, hey, can I give that to them? Can they stack this on top and get 50% off? But unfortunately, you can't do that. But check out what might be on sale because up to 40% off from November 24th to December 2nd. That's a killer deal. So go to zerototravel.com/unbound and that'll take you to the homepage. You can check it out. Okay. Moving on, now that you have your merino wool gear, which is good for cold and hot weather, by the way, for temperature regulation. Something that I travel with quite a bit here, not necessarily when I'm like backpacking or going to other countries, although I would. I don't know why I haven't done this, perhaps because the one I have is a bit more of a dressy one. They have these crafty reversible belts, brown and black. I'm a guy that wears belts every day. If you're a belt wearer, the one I have, like where the belt kind of pushes in, where you have the pin that goes into the hole, that part, you can pull it out and you can turn the whole belt around, the one I have, and you can make it black or make it brown. I don't have a specific belt I'm recommending here. Just that idea of like a nice or cool reversible belt. It's so great when you have apparel that you can use in a variety of scenarios, especially when you're traveling long term, because you can get tired of wearing the same thing over and over again. And maybe you want to have a black and a brown belt to match, the stuff you brought, match different outfits. And when you have a reversible one, obviously you can do that. And this is another one of those things you can bring to cut down on the things you pack. And of course, I'm getting to shoes because that is the biggest challenge, I think, when it comes to people. Before we get there, we're going to move on to gift number 7, rain pants, a good pair of rain pants. If you're traveling long term, you don't need rain pants. But if you're going to do a lot of hiking and things like that, you just want to stay dry. They're light, they're versatile. It is even something you can put on when you do a laundry day and you just want to wash every single thing you own. Put on your rain pants. That's something I've done before. It might be weird you're walking around in your rain pants, but you want to get everything washed. You're traveling for like 3 months. You're just like, I want everything clean. Good pair of rain pants can be such a solid investment for you as a traveler, and they're light. So I'm not going to recommend a specific brand here. I've owned several ones. The current ones I have are a Norwegian brand called Bergen. But, I would say it's another one of those. It's worth, if you're going to get a pair of rain pants, it's worth investing in a good pair that are light, that are going to keep you dry, and that will last. Okay. Number 8. This is a shoe company that they've actually sent me a few different pairs of shoes, which is I'm not like a guy that has a lot of shoes, but I was really curious about trying these out. And they didn't send it for this episode, actually. They sent it last year. They've sent me a few different pairs because we talked about doing a sponsorship together. I'm like, all right, well, let me try these out and see. And by the way, on that note, taking you a little bit behind the scenes here in the Zero to Travel podcast, just so you know, when you hear all the ads and stuff, these are things that, I say no to a lot of sponsorship opportunities because I don't want to just talk about anything. I have to be interested in it. I have to be into it. And I have to think that it's going to be something that you will enjoy as well. Or, different strokes for different folks. Obviously, not everybody in the audience is going to love every single thing that I recommend or put on the podcast here. But just to give you a little bit of the behind the scenes look, I don't want to just throw products that I'm recommending onto the podcast. It has to be something that I feel like, oh, this is cool. This has value to listeners. And these shoes, at least the Cityscape shoes, are the ones I've used the most from Vessi, Vessi. I don't have a discount code or anything like that. I don't have any affiliate thing to share. This is just, I've tried these out. I've taken them on multiple trips now. And the Vessi Cities, they actually call them the Cityscape Classic. I have the black ones. And before I took them on a trip, the first trip I took them on was earlier this year in February. We were going to Rome. And I thought, well, I'm going to try these out. But it's, definitely a little scary to bring just one pair of shoes. You're like, well, it's supposed to rain. What if they get wet? These are waterproof. And so what I did is I started wearing them around Norway here, where I live. Plenty of opportunities to get them wet. And the first time I wore them, I'm like, all right, let me give these the good test. Are these things really waterproof? Come on. I literally ran them under puddles on my way home from the city one day. And if you have a good wool pair of socks on, even if any water comes through, you're still going to stay warm. Wool socks are key. So I had my wool socks on, but they stayed dry. Like my feet were dry. I ran them under a few puddles on the way home. If you jump in a lake with any shoe, you're going to get water on the inside. You're not going to stay dry. But I ran the shoes under puddles and it was fine. I stayed dry. I'm like, okay, these things are passing the test. I took them out into the city. Another day I did it again. Said, all right, these are going to be the only pair of shoes I bring to Rome. And I did. And it rained, but it was fine. It worked great. These are shoes I wouldn't recommend if you are going on a holiday where like part of it you're going to be doing some hiking or some kind of outdoor activity, because these are light, they're waterproof, they look good, they're comfortable. You could wear them out to dinner. You can wear them around town. You can check them out if you go to the link. Style-wise, like you have to decide if they're for you, and they have different styles and everything. So they're just great for what they are, going around the city, but I wouldn't plan on, doing any hiking with them or anything like that for these cityscape classics. Then you have to bring your hiking shoes or something with like a Vibram sole or something that's a little beefier. But if you need a shoe that you can travel with when you're going to explore in that way, like going to a city for 4 or 5 days, whatever, even just touring around for a few weeks, but you're not going to be doing any sort of outdoor activities and things like that, you might want to look into these. They've been great for that exact thing. So, yeah, if that is a need, I just wanted to be really specific with that because I know, you work hard for your money. So you got to make sure that, what you're buying, you do that enough times to make it worthwhile. Okay. We're done with head to toe. There you go. You're geared up head to toe. We'll get back to the interview in just a moment. Now, back to the show. I've got bag and beyond. And then we're going to talk about my favorite day pack from my friends at Tortuga. And I can actually put together a link for this, I think. I'll try it out anyway. If you go to zerototravel.com/Tortuga, that should take you over to this day pack, which I'll set up after I'm done recording. See, you never know what's going to happen when you do this on the fly. So anyway, I have their day pack, and I think their latest version is, even better than the one I've been using for years. And here's what I love about the Tortuga stuff. First of all, the guy that made the brand and made all the backpacks years ago, his name is Fred Perota. Great guy. Friend of mine, became a friend over the years through the podcast, and was a traveler, like really great intention with the company, making great bags for travelers by travelers, and just an all-around good dude. So I love supporting independently owned businesses like that from people that are just cool. And the Tortuga Day Pack Pro, you can have a place to put your computer. It's a light, packable day pack, and it has sailcloth, which is really great at keeping everything inside dry. I just love the material, and I love the way it feels. And you have outside sort of mesh pockets for your water bottles. It just kind of has all the features that I want in a day pack. So you can check that out, see if that's right for you. Little teaser here. What I just said is going to tie in with the 3 gifts that you should avoid. I'll explain why later. Okay. Now, what are you going to put in the bag? Let's talk water. I mean, we need water to survive, right? And I always think that a water bottle is a great sort of easy gift to get somebody. You have the hard BPA-free bottles, like from Nalgene, for example. They make some fun ones with some cool designs. I have one of theirs. But I'm going to put the bottles into 2 categories. You have water bottles that allow you to purify water. This would be for your adventure travelers, I would say, not just exclusively. I mean, people that like to go out into the wilderness, anybody that has a need to purify water. And if you want to be a better traveler and cut down on plastic use, and you go to a place where you might have to buy bottled water, you should definitely get one of these things. I have the Life Straw Go series. What's cool about that is it's all built into the water, the filtration system, so you can just fill up the bottle and then screw on the top and just start drinking. Or you could get something like the SteriPen, which uses like a UV technology to purify the water. And Life Straw also has just the straw mechanism if you want a more minimal solution. There's different solutions out there, is the point. Something that allows you to purify the water, save on those plastic bottles. It's a really cool gift. And lastly, I put this as another gift. So this would be gift number 11. So we have the purification type systems and then just straight water bottle. Again, if you want the hard plastic, BPA free, Nalgene, cool design, fun gift. A practical one that I use a ton, ultralight. It's the Platypus. They have the Platy 2-liter bottle, for example. The soft bottle is another one. These are BPA free and all that good stuff. They are super light. It's something that when you're done drinking out of it, you can just roll it up and stick it in your pocket. And that's exactly what I do. I've taken this thing skiing before. I might have like a Platypus filled with water and then I'll stick it in my pocket, and obviously it gets lighter as the day goes on. And when it's done, it's like having a light piece of plastic in your pocket. You don't even notice it's there. That is such an awesome ultralight piece of gear that I take on every single trip because it just takes up less room. It's just great to have. So anyway, I would highly recommend a Platypus water bottle. Okay, now I'm going to tell you a joke because we have to break this up somehow. I got to throw you off your game. Make sure you're paying attention as we cruise into the final 6. Okay, why do fish swim in salt water? Because pepper water would make them sneeze. All right, now we've got number 12. Stuff sacks. I'm a huge fan of stuff sacks to keep my clothes organized, to keep everything organized. I have stuff sacks for my podcasting gear. I have stuff sacks for my underwear, stuff sacks for my t-shirt. And, there are a lot of options out there. If you look at the material, you can kind of feel the ones that you might like or that you might like to give as a gift. If you're looking for a nicer, perhaps premium gift, I love the Sea to Summit dry bags. They are designed to keep everything inside completely dry in any situation. So these are the types of bags that you would use if you're kayaking, for example, or some kind of outdoor adventure where you need to have everything stay dry. And I have a big one for my sleeping bag. I have smaller ones. And how you can use this and how I have used it on a typical trip, like a long-term backpacking trip, let's say. I always have one of these with me because I can put anything in it in my day pack. If I have a book, my Kindle with me, whatever, any electronic, like things that you don't want to get wet, even if your day pack is designed to keep everything inside of it dry. If you're in Southeast Asia during monsoon season, it might be tough to keep every single thing dry. And so I always like to have one of these Sea to Summit dry bags. You can have it for your day pack. If you're traveling that day and you're carrying your big backpack around, you can put a change of clothes in there, for example, or all your clothes in there, as many clothes as you can fit to keep them dry. They come in handy. You might find you might just only want to have Sea to Summit dry bags as all of your stuff sacks, depending on what kind of adventure you're going on. I do own a couple, and I think they're nice to have and use in certain situations and bring into the mix with my regular stuff sacks. But I'm a big stuff sack sort of organizer type of packer, and I think it's super helpful to have them. Okay, moving on. Simple gift idea. If you're looking for a gift that's not too expensive but still super useful, good old-fashioned travel towel. I think I have one from REI. I don't necessarily recommend any specific brand other than the brands that are just quality and you're getting something that is a microfiber that feels good. I know the one that I have from REI I really like. It dries quickly. It just, a travel towel. They're good to have. All right. Number 14, earplugs. I have a pair of loop earplugs. You can get regular earplugs from the pharmacy, for example. That might not make the greatest gift. If you want something that feels nicer, that comes with a case, the loop earplugs are really nice. They come with the different inserts that can fit different ears. Earplugs for sleeping. I think that any traveler that spent time in hostels or perhaps budget accommodations and the like would find usefulness out of having earplugs. Perhaps you live with a snoring partner and you need to block them out. There are a lot of reasons why I think earplugs are useful, even if you aren't the one to stay in hostels and things like that. Sometimes it's nice just to have a good pair of earplugs to plug in if somebody you're traveling with is watching TV and you want to read. You can just tone them out. I mean, a lot of reasons why. You could say, noise-canceling headphones. That's something I didn't put on the list. Certainly something that you could add as a gift idea. Can serve the same function in some ways. You still need to maybe play something through those. But if you just want to have a good pair of earplugs to kind of block out the noise, it can be a great gift. Okay, number 15, I love a good headlamp. I mean, forget the phone flashlight. Take your phone out for something else. Another thing, the headlamp, it keeps it hands-free. There's been so many times I've used headlamps on the road. Again, not to bring up the hostel situation again, but staying in a hostel, having to leave in the middle of the night, you have to pack up your stuff. You need kind of your hands free. You put on your headlamp on the low light to kind of make sure you got everything for camping, for reading, in tents. If you're a headlamp person or if you are gifting something to a headlamp type of person, a headlamp is a great gift. The Petzls, Petzl, I believe. You can't go wrong with those. Okay, coming into the final stretch, including number 17, which is my all-time fave. Number 16, a knife. A multi-tool. I have the Gerber. I've had the Victorinox. Any of those multi-tool knives, a Swiss Army knife. A great knife is always a great gift. You can personalize them sometimes if you want to do something like that. If it's for a younger traveler and they don't have a Swiss Army knife yet, perhaps you can be the one to give them their first one. Great gift idea. And lastly, my favorite, of course, an experience. Number 17, an experience, something that gives you time together, concert tickets, perhaps a gift card to your local theater, whatever. I mean, insert hot air balloon ride. I don't know. Insert any experience here. It's a nice personal gift to give somebody an experience. And if you can do it in a way where they're going to love it and perhaps it's something you even do together, that can be really fun. One time we got a gift to a theme park from my brother-in-law. They bought our whole family a day at a theme park locally. So we went and had a great time. Awesome stuff. It's a wonderful gift, and of course, one that keeps on giving through the memories. Now, before I leave you with this quote, I have to go back and, first of all, ask you, I hope I didn't bore you. You want another joke? I'm trying to entertain here. Hopefully, you got some value out of this one, got some good gift ideas, and even if you don't give any of these things as gifts, hopefully there were a few travel tips in there that you can run with. Okay, 3 gifts not to buy, in my opinion. I'm not trying to be controversial here. But unless that person is with you picking it out, I wouldn't buy these things. I wouldn't buy a neck pillow. It's a solid gift. Nice to have a neck pillow for the airline, but they make them in different ways, and you never really know what people are going to prefer. Of course, you could take a chance and just get them a neck pillow. They're not super expensive, or actually they can be, some of them. But if you want something that's going to suit that person, people can be very particular with their pillows. Same with travel adapters. Nowadays, some of them might have some different types of functionality in terms of USB cables or inserts and things like that. Again, it's hard to know what people want. And lastly, suitcases or large backpacks. We talked about the day pack thing. I think that Tortuga day pack has all the great features you need. A day pack is one thing, but you're talking about the big backpacks or the suitcases. Again, it comes down to that specific traveler's taste. What do they like? Do they like the suitcase that opens up and you can store things on both sides? Do you like the deeper one where you only put it mostly in one section? Do you want to have a lock built in? No lock? They want what they want. I know what I like, and I need to pick that out for myself. So that's why I list anything like that. If you think this person is got a particular taste, they like what they like, maybe I should just let them pick this out themselves. get a gift receipt if you decide to grab one of those things for them. Okay. Did you get some good ideas? I hope so. Do you want one more joke? I'm going to flip to a random page. This is a dad jokes for kids book I got from a friend of mine. Do you want to play a board game with us? No, I'd rather play an entertained game. I hope that one made you laugh. Why does Superman get invited to so many dinner parties? He's a supper hero. All right, I'll stop now. I'll leave you with a quote from Brian Tracy, who said, "The greatest gift that you can give to others is the gift of unconditional love and acceptance." Thank you for listening. Peace and love to you and yours. I'll see you next time. Cheers.
This podcast has been brought to you by ZeroToTravel.com. Ideas and advice to make your travel dreams a reality.